Flying, you see, is for amateurs, people in a frightful hurry to get from A to B without actually anything. You're just cargo, really, sealed in a slightly pressurized tin can. Where's the grand adventure in that? Nowhere. That's where it is. Utterly nowhere. So the plan was hatched. A properly ambitious one. Lisbon to Beijing. Yes, Beijing. All on the ground. No planes, no leaky boats. Just trains, buses, maybe a stubborn mule. Some called it madness. Utter, certifiable madness. They were probably right, of course, but that's half the fun, isn't it? Our grand departure point, Lisbon, a city of sunshine, rattling trams and suspiciously good custard tarts. The air buzzed with a sort of nervous energy. Was it excitement or just too much coffee? Probably a bit of both, if I'm honest. The bags were packed, badly. The maps were spread out confusingly. The adventure was about to begin, properly. And then we were off. Rolling out of Portugal, a wave goodbye to the Atlantic. Hello, Spain, land of late dinners and even later nights. The feeling of actual movement, the world scrolling past the window, not at 30,000 feet, but right there. You could smell the diesel fumes, you could taste the dust. This, I thought, is how travel should be, gloriously inefficient. Spain whizzed by, then came France, land of excellent cheese and aggressively opinionated waiters. We navigated with a blend of wild gestures and terrible accents. The scenery changed. More trees, different cows. One tries to appreciate these subtle shifts. It's what separates us from the package holiday brigade, or so I kept telling myself. Every confusing road sign was part of the charm. Then came Germany. Predictably, everything worked. Trains arrived on the second. Doors opened smoothly. It was all a bit disconcerting, frankly. Where was the chaos, the potential for disaster? Poland followed, a country steeped in profound history. You could feel the weight of centuries in the air, a sobering reminder of things. And then time for more pierogi, obviously. Ah, the trains of Europe. Some were magnificent beasts of iron and steam, or at least diesel and slightly faded velvet seats, proper dining cars with actual tablecloths. Imagine that. Civilization on wheels. Others were more agricultural, bumpy, noisy, and filled with people carrying chickens, all part of the rich tapestry, I suppose. We briefly, very briefly, considered cycling for about 30 seconds, then common sense and the thought of lycra prevailed. My knees sent a strongly worded letter of objection. So, buses became our trusty, if sometimes reluctant, steeds. They got us from A to B eventually, usually via CD and a place not even on the map. But that's where you find the best stories. And then Russia. Oh, Russia. It's big, you can't quite grasp how big. Until you're on a train and it's still Russia, 3 days later still Russia. Endless birch trees, the Trans-Siberian, legendary, iconic, extremely long. It's an experience, a very, very long experience, with tea served in glasses and the constant gentle rocking that slowly drives you mad. The people on these long-haul trains are a breed apart, a rolling, rumbling United Nations of sorts, families, soldiers, traders and the occasional bewildered tourist. Us. Language barriers, of course, but food is universal. Mysterious sausage was offered. We politely accepted. Much pointing and smiling ensued. You learn to communicate with eyebrows and a shared bottle of something strong. Challenges? Don't be daft. Of course there were challenges. Visas that required the patience of a saint and the paperwork of a small government. Finding a decent cup of coffee became an Olympic sport. One I rarely won, I might add, and signposts, usually in Cyrillic, very helpful. When you can't read Cyrillic, it adds a certain frisson of, where on earth are we? Beyond Russia, the world shifted again. Welcome to the stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Names that sound like they're straight from an adventure novel, and they sort of are. Incredible mosques, bustling ancient markets overflowing with spices and carpets. You could almost hear the whispers of the Silk Road, the air filled with exotic smells, and quite a lot of dust, to be fair. The border crossing into China, another planet. Suddenly everything was different. Again, the scale of things, the sheer number of people. It was like someone had turned the volume of the world up to 11, and the script changed, literally. New characters to decipher, new customs to accidentally offend, but the food, noodles, dumplings, things on sticks, mostly delicious, occasionally terrifying. The landscape continued its dramatic performance, more mountains, stark and beautiful, then sprawling cities that seemed to erupt from the plains, a symphony of construction, commerce and controlled chaos. The final push was on, a palpable sense of nearing the goal. Were we tired? Of course. Were we slightly grubby? Undeniably. But the thought of Beijing, it was like a homing beacon for weary travellers. Our last major train ride. Or was it a series of buses? Honestly, the details become a bit of a blur, a montage of fleeting glimpses. Paddy fields, factories, More noodles. Definitely more noodles. The anticipation built with every clickety-clack, every lurch. Beijing, the Forbidden City. The Great Wall, not on this exact route, but you get the idea. It sounded like a victory fanfare. The end of an absurdly long, ridiculously challenging, utterly brilliant quest. And then, there it was. Beijing. We'd actually made it. Lisbon to Beijing. Without resorting to the tedium of flight, just thousands of miles of steel rails, bumpy roads, and questionable roadside cafes. Exhausted? Completely. Elated? Absolutely. Smug? A little bit. It was a moment, a proper we actually did it moment, right then. Time to find some Peking duck and possibly a very, very long nap. Brilliant.